Hey guys, Ms. Timpson here. I just wanted to make a quick video to help with your next Go Math assignment. And so in this video, we're going to talk about different values with decimals as well as different ways to write decimals. Okay, so when you were in second, third, and fourth grade, you talked about place value and the value of numbers and digits in numbers. What are they worth? What is their value? Okay, so we're going to go back to what we know from previous grades, which is ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, millions. Okay, we only have to go up to millions in fifth grade, but we're going to add on a couple new things with decimals down on the other end. Okay, so this section is the whole. Okay, it's the whole number, but we're going to talk about the leftovers, not the whole numbers. So on this side, we have the part that's left over. Okay, so the first value is tenths. The second value is hundredths. The third value is thousandths. Thousandths. Okay, can you see that? I need to extend this just a little bit. So ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, millions, this is all part of the whole number. But the leftovers, the less than one, not a whole number, tenths, hundredths, and thousands are the values that are after the decimal point. And so one thing that is very important to remember is there is not a once. Okay, that's not such a thing. We do not have a once value. Okay, so it starts with tenths. You'll notice everything on the right side of the decimal has a THS after it. Okay, tenths here is very much different than tens. Totally different. Okay, if you have $10, awesome. If you have a tenth of a dollar, you have 10 cents. This is the value of 10 cents, where this is the value of $10. Big difference. Same thing here. I would rather have $100 versus having a hundredth of a dollar, which is 1 cent. 1 penny versus $100. Okay, that's a huge difference. Okay, each time that you move a place value to the right, you're getting 10 times bigger. So if I multiply 1 times 10, I get 10. If I multiply 10 times 10, I get 100. You're getting 10 times bigger each time that you move to a place value to the right, or to the left. I'm sorry, to the left. As you move to the right, you're getting 10 times smaller. Now that's 10 cents versus 1 penny. Okay, 10 cents is 10 times bigger than 1 penny. So each time you move down to the right, you are getting 10 times smaller. So to the left, 10 times bigger. To the right, 10 times smaller. Okay, your decimal is here in the middle, and that decimal point is just the center of that number. Okay, so I'm going to erase this really quick. Get this out of the way. So we're going to talk about a couple different numbers really fast. So let's say I have the decimal 11 and 57 hundredths. So I'm going to plug this decimal into my chart. Now, the chart that I've made is kind of big, but you are welcome to write this on any of your assignments or on a piece of paper and use a chart like this to help you with your assignments, especially if you're not sure what place value each number is falling into. If you make the chart like this, you can plug this number into it. So I'm going to find the decimal point, and I'm just going to start and work my way from the inside out. So I'm going to write my 11 And then I'm going to write my 57, being sure not to skip any place values and making sure that my decimal and my number is in the same spot as the decimal that is in the number listed. Okay? So now let's say that they ask me what is the place value of the 5. So when they use the words place value, they're looking for a place. They're looking for a location. They're looking for a name of where that 5 is at. So if they say, what is the place value of the 5, the answer is tenths. Tenths, that's the place it's in. It's in the tenths place. Okay? But now, if they ask me the question, if they phrase it, what is the value of the 5, the underlined digit, which is 5 in this occasion, then we would write our answer as a number. Okay? This is 5/10. This is the value. It's how much it's worth. So when they ask the question place value, they're looking for a place, and you're listing the words, hundreds, tens, ones, tenths, listing the location. But if they ask for a value, your answer is going to be in number form. So in this case, 5/10. Okay? The next thing we need to go over is how to say this number. Okay? Because we're not going to necessarily say 11 and 572 or 11.572 or 11 decimal 572. There is a mathematical way to say this number appropriately. So we would say 11, treat this like an and. You're going to treat that as one number. 11 and 572, but then you're going to look at the last digit of that number and see what place that digit's in. So in this number, the last number in this 572 is in the thousands. So that's going to be the word that I tack on to the end of that. 11 and 572 thousandths. Okay, I probably should have used this one as an example. 11, that goes together. Then you're going to say and. You're going to put this all together, 572. And then you're going to say the word that's at the very end of that number. 11 and 572 thousandths. Okay? So I'm going to make up a different number. Something simple. I'll make sure that my numbers also are in the right place, in the same place that this number is. Okay? So this would be 4 and 7 tenths. Okay? This would be 84 and 7 tenths. This would be 84 and 71 hundredths. 984 and 71 hundredths. 7,984 and 713 thousandths. Okay, so you might get the gist of that now. So I'm going to erase this now. And the last thing that I want to go over is how to write this number in different forms. Okay, so I'm going to make up another number. Let's see. Okay. So when we're looking at different forms, standard form is just the same as it was in chapter 1. Standard form is just like number form. So if I want to write this number in standard form, it is already in standard form. Okay? If I'm writing this number in word form, I'm going to write it the same way that I say it. So if you need to plug it into this chart, you can. if you're starting to memorize ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, tenths, hundreds, thousandths, then you don't have to make the chart. But I would definitely recommend this chart starting out just because it helps you develop that pattern, okay, and memorizing the different place values. So this is 463 and 21 hundredths, because this value is the tenths, this value is the hundredths. So I would write out 463 and 21 hundredths. Okay. Expanded form is much like the expanded form that we talked about in chapter 1. So what I would recommend is just doing each number one at a time. I like to cover up, I write 4 and it's in the hundredths place, so that's 400 plus, then I move down a digit and I'm going to have 60 plus, I'm going to move down a digit, 3 plus, I have 0.2 plus the 0.01. It's almost like every other digit becomes zeros, okay? And you'll notice here I did not write 400 decimal 00. I can just write 400. It is a whole number, so that's fine. Same thing with 60 and the same thing with 3. Make sure that you're putting the 0 in front of the 2/10 and in front of the 100ths as a placeholder, just to show that there's no value in that place. Okay, so standard form is the same thing as number form. Word form, I would try to say that number out loud to yourself, and then I would write the words to match that. I would use this chart to help you do that. And expanded form is the same as chapter 1. You're just expanding that number out. I know that in the book they ask you to write it like in fraction form. We're not going to mess with fractions right now. I think that this is the simplest form to write it. Even though, 2/10, I mean, that's really the same thing as 2/10, but we're not going to mix the fractions and decimals quite yet, just because I feel like that makes it a little more complicated. And we'll get into fractions and we'll practice with fractions, but for now, we're just worrying about decimals. But if you want to write it in fraction form, you can. It's a little tricky every now and then. So anyway, let us know if you have any questions. This video should help you on your next assignment. Thanks.